YouTube, welcome back. Okay, so this is the introduction, or should I say, the start of the pre-game setup of the Forbidden Playstyles. There's gonna be videos on each playstyle, and it's gonna feature the runes and item builds for each one, and they have their own specific names, so that you can pick it up a little bit easier and name it so that everyone knows exactly what it's all about. So today it's gonna be Forbidden Velocity. Brief explanation is it's really just based on movement speed, and let's get into it. And let's go at its rune page first. All right, so I don't want to take too much time because, in a way, it kind of does explain itself. But on the sorcery tree, you have everything to do with movement speed. Everything. Phase rush, nimbus, cloak, celerity, water walking. We're banking on this movement speed. If you want to change something though, you might want to change water walking to, I don't know, gathering storm, if you want. But since this is a little bit of a cheese build, or should I say a cheese setup, because you're trying to like move fast and try to kill your opponent, then I would want to like go on water walking. Plus, it would probably be useful once you move down to the skull crab and stuff like that. Now, for the second tree over here, we go for the resolve tree. Now, like I said, this is a little bit of a cheese kind of setup. You're looking for that early game kind of stuff, right? So you want to get the best thing for the early game, and that is bone plating. Bone plating and unflinching. Unflinching is probably like the best like source of tenacity, especially in the early game, because it also gives slow resist on top of tenacity. So it's really nice to have. It's the attack speed, AD, and situational. You can take whatever you want over here, and that pretty much sums up everything. You have the speed, you have somewhat of the defensive plan and durability, somewhat because of the bone plating in the resolve tree, and that completes the entire rune page. Now we go into the item build, and you'll start to see why these things have to be built together. All right, so we have this build over here on screen. Now, honestly, you can kind of narrow this build down to three items and boots if you really want to. If you want to like know what's the core, what's the strength of it, all right? What's the point? First you buy boots for obvious reasons. Then you buy cleaver. Now the reason for cleaver is because you want the champion you're playing against to soften up and then start taking a lot of damage. But also this rage passive that gives you a little bit of movement speed. Now here's where I'm gonna have to start counting the stuff. It gives a bit of movement speed based on the amount of carve passive procs that you have, and that stacks up to like 18 or 20 or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't really do the math, but it does give you a bit of flat movement speed. So that's one. Stridebreaker, Heroic Gate. That's 20 move speed for 3 seconds after doing physical damage. That's two. Now, you need to remember these two things because with your passive, your bleed, this thing is going to be on for as long as you're in combat. So these two things said, Stridebreaker's mythic passive gives you movement speed just off of building items, which is already something. And then you get Force of Nature, which is the where it kind of rounds off. Force of Nature gives you a steadfast passive of where you get more movement speed once it's fully stacked. That's really good because now you have four sources of the things in your item build and boots, I guess. Sure, cool. But with these movement speed components or aspects already discussed, don't forget your rune page, your Nimbus Cloak Celerity, phase rush, and water walking. These things combine together to give you even more movement speed. You're trying to move as fast as possible. Now, here's something I don't want you to confuse yourself. You're not going full movement speed. You're not Hecarim. No. You're going majorly, or should I say like mostly movement speed, right? But you still need to get this durability stuff down, which is why you go for Randwins. Now, here's the thing about Force of Nature, which is really good. Because this item has 70 magic resist, which is amazing, but it also has that steadfast passive. Once it's fully stacked, it gives you reduced, it gives you damage reduction on magic damage, which is a really good damage reduction type of stat. And so does Tabi's, and so does Randwin's, which is why you get these two. So now you have 3 of these items that give you damage reduction, and you top it off with a Maw to make sure that both AP champions and AD champions have a little bit of a harder time killing you. Like, the way this build just like solid is just really solid. I really like it. I do. And in terms of doing damage to enemy champions, this build now has 3 AD items, so you should be able to do damage to champions somehow. And let's say they have a bit of armor. You have your E and Cleaver to make sure that they do die. And last but not least, there's that little buff to Maul, where if you proc it, you actually get some Omni Vamp. So we have a little bit of that too. Now, I already explained everything. I think I did a alright job in doing that. What would you use this build setup? Why would you go into Forbidden Velocity? You would do this against teams where there's a lot of range, there's a lot of champions that you can't necessarily catch, right? Like a Kale and stuff like that, but just champions that are just a bit too far away. And a little bit more on the squishier side, but you have Cleaver, so you can deal with some tankier champions as well. But that's what you kind of want to use it against, mostly kiters. And with that said and done, well, just before it ends, I just want to put down a little bit of a preference section. Now, obviously, this is not really needed at all. You can do this any way you like. But if I was to choose a specific skin whilst using this playstyle, I'd say like any like blue skin, like Woad King Darius or Dunk Master with the blue chroma specifically. Any one of those, because I just feel like maybe it's Phase Rush, right? I don't know what it is, but those are the 2 picks for me if I was to play this playstyle with a specific skin. That is Forbidden Velocity explained. That's the video for it. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. Do the YouTube usuals, like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. And watch more videos. Anyways, that's it from me. All links are down in the description below. Have a nice day, and peace out.
Nothing but